this is my problem with Stephen A. Smith and many of the black broadcasters that constantly want to turn black men into victims. This man claims in a book, in a memoir, he went on podcast tours telling a story of, in 1987, whatever, 88, I can't remember, a guy that used to play for Big House Games at Winston-Salem State, he gave me a playground tryout in February in New York City.
Here we go.
And I was so impressive in that playground tryout in New York City in February. Stephen A. gets a tryout on a Sunday, a scrimmage, shows up late, gets thrown into the game, and according to Stephen A. Smith, he knocked down 17 straight threes and got offered a scholarship on the spot.
The GOAT.
And so here we are 40 years later, and Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, silver spoon in his mouth, his whole career, his whole life, he's being set up by getting to play against the first team. There is no athlete, no legitimate athlete in his right mind who sees, hey, I get to go play with the first team. I'm going to show these guys. There's no athlete that says, oh, yeah, I'm a victim. I'm being set up here.
Jason Whitlock goes off on Stephen A. Smith in the mainstream media for calling Shedeur Sanders a victim. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Shedeur Sanders, he's a contestant. He's been drafted into the Victim Olympics. Shedeur Sanders has won the gold medal in the Victim Olympics, according to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is convinced that, or is trying to convince the sports public that Shedeur Sanders, starting tonight against the Carolina Panthers, who have been one of the worst teams in the NFL the last couple of years, that somehow this is a setup for failure. He's not the only one making this argument. We've heard Louis Riddick earlier say that Shedeur Sanders is skating uphill and that the Cleveland Browns organization just has it in. Shedeur Sanders, we'll hear from Stephen A. I'm going to play the clip, and then we'll hear from Dan Orlovsky rebutting it. And then I got some things I got to say. It's just how getting a starting assignment against the Carolina Panthers makes you a victim, how that's a setup. It blows my mind. But let's listen to Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, as far as Shedeur Sanders being a victim or being classified as a victim just due to the treatment he's going through in Cleveland. Now, two things could be true. It could be some stuff going on behind the scenes with Cleveland. Did they really want to draft Shedeur? What's really going on with that? The owner talked about it like he didn't really know what was going on, so there could be some stuff going on in the front office. Is everybody aligned with Shedeur Sanders? Is he the future of the Cleveland Browns? And as far as him getting an opportunity in a preseason game, I do believe that's a great opportunity. It shouldn't be set up for failure, but I get it. If the organization, they're all over the place, comments being made about Shedeur, again, some things could be going on with that organization. Maybe it could be to where Shedeur Sanders may be traded. He may not finish out his full contract in Cleveland, but he has a golden opportunity against the Panthers to really show that he could potentially be a starter this season.
But I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the star lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just going to throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that. But he doesn't. And then all of a sudden he's starting tomorrow night. It's like you want him to fail. I'm not accusing the coaches of doing this. I'm not accusing the GM of doing this. But that owner, Mr. Haslam, that's a different animal right there. Mr. $230 million guaranteed deal to Deshaun Watson. And then he's going to come out this time around. I had nothing to do with this pick. I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, that wasn't me. That was GM Barry right there. That wasn't me. The owner sitting up there. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. Yo, it wasn't me. That's what he was saying. And I'm saying, really? That's what we doing now?
Again, I get what Stephen A. Smith is saying, being set up for failure, but this is a preseason game, and even though Shedeur hasn't been getting a lot of run with the first team, how much snaps is the first team really going to play in the preseason, the first preseason of the NFL season for the Browns, and especially the Panthers? Like, no one's really going all out. Maybe they get a few snaps and that's it, but for the most part, he's going to be playing with that third team and that fourth team in preseason. It's really made for those guys to get an opportunity, and if Shedeur is who Shedeur is supposed to be, he's going to step up to the, potential challenge, and there's going to be some nerves. He is a rookie, so you got to give him a little grace, but we shouldn't label him a victim as of yet. Now, if this was going on and now he's just being thrown out there as a starter, then maybe that has some merit in a regular season game, but in a preseason, Shedeur Sanders should rise and hopefully play a good game and get some more starts this preseason.
And that's what I'm saying. Really? That's what we're doing now. That starting an NFL game in the preseason is a setup for failure. It's not seen as a golden opportunity. It's framed as you're being set up for failure. Before I go off on this, I'm going to let Dan Orlovsky, who works at ESPN, fire first. Let's hear from Dan Orlovsky.
Will everybody stop with the Shedeur Sanders is being set up to fail narrative? Who do you want to start the game? It's preseason week 1. First option, Joe Flacco. He's played for like 20 years. He's not going to start preseason week 1. The next two options would be a Kenny Pickett or a Dylan Gabriel. Both are dealing with hamstring injuries. Neither has practiced a ton recently. If they've done anything, I believe it's been 7-on-7. Who do you want to start the game? The next two options are Shedeur and Snoop Huntley. Shedeur's been there. Snoop Huntley just got there. So while Shedeur may not have had reps with the ones, what else do you want them to do in Cleveland? It's an opportunity for him. It may not be the ideal opportunity. Very rarely is it for a 5th-round pick, but it's an opportunity for him to go out there and do in a game what many have reported he's done in practice. Stop with the setup to fail narrative.
Well, if you're Dan, you got to be careful. You are at ESPN. You kind of got to move with the sheep. So if everyone at ESPN First Take and pretty much everybody on that platform is saying Shedeur Sanders is a victim, being set up for failure, if you're Dan, just be careful because you could be fired at any given moment, kind of going in the opposite direction. But I agree with Dan. This is a golden opportunity. Nothing's ideal for a 5th-round pick. Yeah, he's connected just because of the last name Sanders, but he's still the 5th-round pick, and he has to do what he has to do. Yeah, it could have been better if he got some more run with the first team, but it is what it is. Relish the opportunity, step up to the plate. Shedeur seems like he's mature about this situation, and I believe that he can possibly put up a good preseason game. It is his first preseason game, so I'm not expecting him to wow the entire NFL world, but I think he's going to play good enough to at least be considered a starter sometime this NFL season.
Thank you, Dan Orlovsky, for pointing out the illogic and just the new, like, Flacco is 56 years old. He doesn't need preseason reps. They've had injuries to their other quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. It's football, sports, competition has always been next man up. Next man up. This is my problem with Stephen A. Smith and many of the black broadcasters that constantly want to turn black men into victims rather than warriors, rather than competitors, rather than opportunity seekers. Everything is about, we're being set up for failure. Don't you know they put drugs in the black community? Don't you know they put drugs in the black community? We see nothing as glass half filled. We see nothing as an opportunity for greatness. This is my huge, huge problem with Stephen A. Smith and his fraudulence.
Yeah, Whitlock is spitting right now. Everything doesn't have to be labeled as being a victim. Yeah, just going back to Shedeur Sanders, this is a golden opportunity. You got to be ready for this. And I'm sure he's going to relish that opportunity and play a pretty good game. Now, you just can't say, okay, he's a victim just because of what's going on with the organization. And in that sense, maybe it could parlay him into being traded. But again, you got to stop labeling everything as being a victim. This is a great opportunity for Shedeur. A lot of fifth-round picks don't get this opportunity, and especially the media attention on these major platforms like ESPN and First Take. Shedeur, he just got to step up to the plate. No victim mentality. Go out there and ball out and be a starter, hopefully in the near future.
This man claims in a book, in a memoir, he went on podcast tours telling a story of, in 1987, whatever, 88, I can't remember, a guy that used to play for Big House Games at Winston-Salem State, he gave me a playground tryout in February in New York City.
Here we go.
And I was so impressive in that playground tryout in New York City in February. Think about February, New York City. What's going, cold weather, snow, what, playground. And I was so impressive in that playground tryout that the next weekend, he drove me to North Carolina in Winston-Salem to try out on a Sunday. On a Sunday. The day after Winston-Salem State would have played a game, according to Stephen A. Smith's narrative, on a Saturday, Stephen A. gets a tryout on a Sunday, a scrimmage, shows up late, gets thrown into the game, and according to Stephen A. Smith, he knocked down 17 straight threes and got offered a scholarship on the spot.
The GOAT.
Stephen A. claims, while lying clearly, that when he was presented less than an ideal scenario, he made the most of it. And he earned a scholarship on the spot. That's what kind of a man Stephen A. Smith was in 1987, 1988. He didn't need a fair chance. He just needed an opportunity. And so here we are 40 years later, and Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, silver spoon in his mouth his whole career, his whole life. Oh, he's being set up by getting to play against the first team. There is no athlete, no legitimate athlete in his right mind who sees, hey, I get to go play with the first team. I'm going to show these guys. There's no athlete that says, oh, yeah, I'm a victim. I'm being set up here.
Good point by Whitlock. I see why Stephen A. Smith doesn't like Whitlock, because he's going to tell it like it is. Now with Stephen A. Smith having that tryout, did he label himself a victim? Did he relish the opportunity and made the best of it? 17 threes in a row, and look at him. He became a legend out there in New York. So same thing with Shedeur Sanders. Is he a victim? Is he being set up for failure? Or is this a golden opportunity to show the Browns organization, you can just throw me out there whenever and I'm going to step up to the plate? So Stephen A. is either being a hypocrite or he's losing his mind. This is a great opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. He's not a victim.
You're being set up for success. You're being given an opportunity. This is an incredible opportunity for Shedeur Sanders tonight, and you have idiots like Stephen A. Smith who pretend to be like they're some sort of athlete. They actually understand sports. And then you have people, Louis Riddick, who actually played in the NFL. They're all falling under the spell of Deion Sanders, who wants to make excuses for his boy. And that's what this is coming from. These guys on the phone with Deion, or Deion text messaging them, yeah, he's being set up. This is all about lowering the bar for Shedeur. If he plays poorly, Stephen A. and everybody gets to go on, well, what did you expect? He didn't get any first team reps. Are you kidding me?
That's exactly what's going to happen. If Shedeur Sanders stinks up the joint, not only this game, but the few games he'll play in preseason, they're just setting him up for an excuse like he got thrown out there to the Wolves, the preseason Wolves, versus third and fourth teams on each of those rosters, and he didn't play good. This is how the Browns organization is running, setting him up for failure, still drafting him in the NFL. Yeah, 5th round pick. You can say there was some stuff going on behind the scenes, but either way, no 5th round pick is going to get this much attention on TV and have an opportunity to ball out in a preseason game. Yeah, he didn't play with the first team, but who cares? If Shedeur Sanders, like I said, is who we think he is, he should be able to step up to the plate and relish this moment and do some great things versus the Panthers.
TJ, and don't spend long on this, but I mean, TJ, you were an undrafted person into the NFL. Would there ever have been a thought, hey, you get to go play with the first team and you haven't all training camp, Tom Brady's going to be throwing you the ball tonight? Is it, oh, that's unfair. Are you being set up for failure or are you being given an opportunity?
Greatest opportunity in the world.
Facts. Real talk, man. Come on.
What are we talking about? But this is what we do. We cripple young black men with excuses. Don't do it to Shedeur Sanders tonight. This kid better go out there and ball. He's capable of it. If you believe him, if you believe his father, if you believe all the broadcasters that have he should have been a first-round pick. Well, he's got a chance to prove it tonight. Against a team, Carolina, that's not that good. We keep putting young men in the victim Olympics, and it's killing them.
And that's what it is, man. Got to stop this whole victimhood thing. Oh, he's a victim being set up for failure. I get it. The Browns organization may not be ran good, paid all that money to Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, they got some questionable things going on in that organization. But at the end of the day, a 5th round pick isn't getting a golden opportunity like this to not only be covered on major sports networks, podcasts, and whatever, but has an opportunity to ball out primetime TV aired on a major network. Like, come on, bro. Shedeur Sanders, he was hyped up. At the end of the day, everybody's saying he should have been a first-round pick, top 10. Even me, I felt as though something went on and he slipped to the 5th round. But either way, this is an opportunity for him to show, like, I should have been a first-round pick, the number 1 pick. So here you go, Shedeur. Ignore everybody like Stephen A. and everybody on these mainstream platforms saying that you're a victim, being set up for failure. Shedeur, he's been conducting himself great in these interviews and not making any excuses. He may feel some stuff behind the scenes, but what he's presenting to the media, he's standing up straight, chest high, looking into the camera and letting people know, like, it is what it is. No excuses. I'm going to go out there and ball out. So I like that attitude, and I'm wishing him the best. And again, this is a great opportunity for him to show the Browns organization he's capable of being a starter.